topic is Cynther actually wrote this in our little show doc. He put technical musicianship stuff, which is funny because I'm known for being like this like very technical musician. I like very technical music, and so it kind of doesn't really apply, in my opinion, to video game soundtracks. There's not really anything in video game soundtracks that really appeal to my taste in music, which is, I think, a big reason why I've never been super enthusiastic about video game soundtracks per se. This topic was mostly brought up for Brian and Cynther to express their love for video game soundtracks and the types of music that goes into it, because I think they both identify more with your traditional synthy, industrial sort of sounds and stuff like that, which is what video game soundtracks have already been. I'm my musical taste outside of video games, just the kind of stuff I listen to every day, is like prog rock and prog metal. I like very experimental, just crazy odd time signatures and just music that can just go in 1,000 different directions. I like being surprised. I get bored with songs that are always in 4/4 time signatures because it's just so standard, and that's just what all music is written in. And I like when things just go off in a completely different direction. And I'm a huge fan of the sounds that you get from bands that have a drummer, a guitar player or two, a bass player, and a keyboard player. That's my ideal sound, is those kind of instruments and stuff like that. And so some of the picks I got, the first thing I put up here, even though we're going to talk about Final Fantasy later on, I actually added this at the 11th hour last night. You were sharing stuff with the Final Fantasy soundtrack with me, Final Fantasy 9, and I remember that's one of the first soundtracks that I actually bought outside of like Halo, and I remember listening to that. I bought it on CD and back in the day, and I really liked the Final Fantasy 9 soundtrack. But I was trying to find the specific tracks that I liked because I haven't heard it in so long. I was going through and I found this like remix version of the the Final Battle song from the Final Fantasy 9 soundtrack, and it has more of the rock elements that I like. I was wanting to listen to it again, and I was looking it up on YouTube, and I found that like the actual original version of the song, that's still the same in a lot of ways, but I like the other version with the guitars in it because, like I said, that's kind of my passion. And what's interesting about video game soundtracks in general, just a quick aside, is that like I said, the Cynther is always. Me and him have gone back and forth over the years about our musical taste and stuff like that, because he approaches things from a completely different angle than I do, and that's all fine and valid. But I don't just approach everything from a technical standpoint. What's cool about video game music in general is that a lot of the things that I like about prog rock and prog metal as far as a compositional standpoint, come from the same place where. Like a lot of, especially early Japanese, video game soundtracks, even going back to like 8-bit and like chip tunes and stuff like that, and the early 90s, like MIDI stuff is all like classically sort of trained like musicians that were writing this stuff. What's cool about this topic is that it shows how like music is this universal language, and it's all throughout everything. And so the first thing is the Halo 2 soundtrack, which was